Hey guys, welcome back. This is Amy, and I would like to, in this video, do a review and update of these alcohol markers that I purchased from Five Below, a chain that is here in the US. I hope that you all had a fantastic Christmas if you celebrate Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, or just some maybe time off with friends or family. We're in this little space in between Christmas and New Year's, and I have some time off, which means that for me, I'm going to have some extra time to do a few more videos than would be normal, and also do a little bit of coloring, which is nice. I'm excited. I'm gonna do a bunch of hobbies. I've been reading. I'm gonna put together a couple Lego sets that I got for Christmas. Let's see what else. Watch some movies, go to the movies, but coloring for sure. All right, so review of the markers. So call me crazy, but one of the reasons why I wanted to purchase some inexpensive alcohol markers was because we had the short-term project book, which was the Advent Calendar Christmas coloring book from Jeanette Veronica. And I do have a set of nice Ohuhu Honolulu series alcohol markers, but I guess the way I was feeling about it was, let me reserve those and save those for some of the other books that I like to do, pardon the expression, but that I like to make a little bit more fancy and spend more time on, like the Gabby Wolf or Morgan O'Brien. That's just me. It's a personal choice, personal decision. Nothing wrong with Bold and Easy or with this book. It is adorable. But now that I have used them quite extensively over the past month for December and have swatched them and all that good stuff, I figured it would be a good time to share kind of my thoughts and impressions. So these were, as you see, $5 each. Not everything in the Five Below store is $5. That was, I think, the original idea when it first opened many years ago. Now they have sections that have like 20 and below, just various odds and ends. And they actually have like quite a few arts and craft supplies that I do want to spend some time. Maybe I'll do, like, I did a similar Dollar Tree video earlier this year where I did some shopping and then used only materials used from that store. I think I'm going to do the same thing with Five Below. I'd be very excited to do that. And they actually have coloring books too. But anyway, so there were two sets, at least there were at the time, that I got these. One, assorted colors, it's called. They're kind of like bold and bright, like basic colors. And then another that is the neutral alcohol marker pack. So neutral tones and grays. And I'll flip these over so you can see. They are dual tip. So there is a chisel tip and then a fine tip. So you see down here. So I'm going to take them out so you can see a little bit more. So each marker, and this has a name and number. Don't know if you can see that. The sticker also gives you an indication of what tip, because there's nothing marked on either end of the cap. But this is the bolder, the chisel tip, and this one has the thinner line and is the fine tip. I'm not centered. I'm sorry. I apologize. The way that my little setup here that I use to hold my phone, and then also the ring light. I can't see like the center of what's going on, but anyway. So yeah, these dual tip markers. And I'll start with the assorted colors first. So you've got two blues, kind of like a royal blue and a light sky blue. You have a black. Black is in both sets. This one's harder to tell from the sticker which end is which, so you just kind of have to look. In terms of pinks, there is a fluorescent rose, a lighter pink, an orange, purple. This one I will say this about the set is some of the stickers on the markers are a little misleading as to the actual color that it turns out to be, which really should be no surprise to anyone because I feel like that's the case for a lot of markers. But this one is yellow ochre, and it looks like a pale rose, dusty rose, mauve kind of color on the sticker. It is not. I use this one actually probably the second most of every color in this between the two sets. It's a light brown or tan. There are two greens, like a mint green and a dark green, a bright fluorescent yellow, and a red. And I'm gonna move these aside and kind of go through and do the same here with the 12 sets. So I mean, it's two 12 sets. It's not like you're not getting a huge number of colors here, but so with the neutrals, you get like a light blue, you get a bunch of grays. Now the labels wouldn't suggest necessarily that they're a bunch of grays, but these are all different grays. And even this one that looks like purple says cool gray. It's a gray. Same thing here. It says green gray. Look at it. It looks like a lavender color on the label. And then there's some lighter like skin tone, which was exciting that was included, and I didn't have to worry about that. Again, the black, and then you've got some browns here. So, all right, let me show you the swatches. And I did use these almost exclusively in that advent calendar. So about 25 pages worth approximately of coloring, and I will say, so none of them ran out. This one I think is very close to running out. It's the red, that should be no surprise. I used a lot of green and red in the advent calendar. But I think as far as longevity goes of the marker, I mean, that's pretty good. If there was one thing I was thinking about, a $5 set of markers, and it's 12 of them, I mean, that's a great price point. I was kind of worried that they would run out before I was able to finish the book, which wasn't the case. So, swatches. Because I knew I was going to be using these a lot, I went ahead and did the color test page at the front of this book and colored in the hearts and the trim of the stocking. And I went ahead and put the number and the name of each color, starting with the assorted bold colors. I skipped a stocking and then did the neutrals. So they swatched very well. I was very pleased, and I really enjoyed using them, guys. I am going to re-buy these. And I hope that they maybe come out with another set, like maybe a third set. I will say, and this is the case for my Ohuhus as well, I did not use the chisel tip. I'm not a chisel tip kind of person. I used the fine tip to do all of my coloring. In terms of yellowing, so I mean, I did this page on December 1st, and I did use a blotter page to protect the next page each day. Well, mostly. I did have some incidents and some boo-boos, but for the most part, I put a blotter page when I remember to do that. And then I remove it once I'm done and once it's dry. So I have not, it's been what? It's the, hold on, it's the 29th. So it's been almost a month and I don't see any yellowing, which is awesome. Even on the black. Black is the one that I have a problem with, my Ohuhu. It's the only one of my Ohuhus that does yellow. And I used black. I don't see any yellowing. And I want to say when my Ohuhu black yellowed, I did notice it within a month. So it's not like it's something that happened like months and months later. Now, it's not to say that that won't still happen in here, but I mean, it was a risk I was willing to take. I took photographs of everything after I did it. And I'm going to keep the book, at least for now. My plan is to keep my completed books. Because it's a lot of hard work and some good memories here. Because we did this with a bunch of family members. But, so as long as you utilize your same techniques that you would do for any alcohol marker, which is, you know, kind of go a little quickly, and with the larger spaces, that's where it gets tricky. But that to me goes with any alcohol marker that you use. So like this was, you know, not as fun because it's a large space and you know that you just have to be quick about it, because as soon as any area starts to dry, then that's what's going to give you that streak. So I was able to, this one had a little bit of streaking. That I think was one of the bigger, but not bad. That's the risk you run with coloring large spaces with alcohol markers. So you just gotta figure out your pattern to keep it, to go, you know, make sure that the part that's gonna be the driest, you go back and address it before it's too late. So I did use some acrylic markers in here too, but I would say that most everything has these Five Below alcohol markers. But I would recommend, if you have a really big space, I'm trying to remember in particular, there was one in here, not to use an alcohol marker, just because a couple reasons. One, it's just going to eat up all your marker, right? And for one thing, here was another one that I was worried about, and you can see that, you can see a little bit of the lines, but it's not bad. And it really has more to do with it being an alcohol marker than these particular alcohol markers. Now, I can't speak to, layering, I can give you some feedback. They layered very nice. I did do some layering. It's always hard, I noticed this in the last video, to see it on camera, where I did some layering. Because it's kind of thin. Because in person it looks like enough layering to me, but it's a little bit harder to see. So it layers nice. Blending, I don't have a lot of experience with. It's not a technique that I have mastered, nor do I think that I want to. I'm okay with where I am at right now as a colorist, and I'm happy with the results. So I don't know about blending. I know that might be important to you when you're looking for a set of alcohol markers, and I apologize that I can't give you that feedback. But otherwise, I would say if you're just into some straight coloring and you do want to layer the markers and do some either gel or acrylic over top, that these work beautifully. I was really happy with how these turned out. And they were consistent. Like, it wasn't an issue where like some of the markers were more difficult to use than others, or did a little wonky, or weren't as juicy. They were consistent. Every color and the, you know, how firm of a grip that I had to use or whatever, it was all the same. There wasn't any inconsistencies there, which I do appreciate. So I would say if you in the US, because I don't know if they have Five Below, some, you know, other in other places. I haven't done that kind of research. If I do it before I finish editing, I will put some information here, but I would say if you do have a Five Below or something comparable and you're interested in a inexpensive set of alcohol markers, I would definitely recommend these, especially if you're just starting out too, and maybe you want to work on your technique and you're not exactly sure, and you don't want to like use up some really expensive markers trying to figure it out. I would use these. Now for odor, because that might mean something to you too. When I first got them, I felt like they were pretty stinky in terms of the alcohol. And you know, all alcohol markers, if you've used them, have an odor, especially if you're like right up close to it. As time went on, so about maybe 2 or 3 pages in to that Advent calendar coloring book, I didn't notice it anymore. So I'm thinking that it was just because, you know, they were new, that it had the strong odor at first, and then kind of over time after use, it was pretty minimal. So I would say odor was fine. So we've talked about odor, we've talked about the color swatches, the tips, and the consistency. So I think that about covers it. Thank you for joining and watching the video. I hope that this was helpful for you if you are considering purchasing these markers. I certainly enjoyed them, and now I have colored, like I said, an entire book. So, and you've seen some of the results. All right, that's going to do it for this review. I hope you guys have a wonderful week and Happy New Year.